I'd just like to remind folks that I run a Twitch channel. I use my Twitch to stream games, quizzes, countdowns, Q&As, and much more. So please make sure to follow me on Twitch to be notified every time I go live. Howdy folks, Jamboree here. It's July, the most patriotic month for Americans. So I thought I'd review the classic movie Independence Day, a film that I loved watching with my family as a kid. This is a sci-fi action war movie that centers on an alien invasion of Earth, from the perspectives of an ensemble cast of characters. Will Smith's Captain Stephen Hiller, Bill Pullman's President Thomas J. Whitmore, Jeff Goldblum's techno-whiz David Levinson, and Randy Quaid's former war pilot Russell. I won't beat around the bush. Independence Day is a very cheesy summer blockbuster movie. For a big alien invasion epic, it's more like a Saturday morning action kids show. In terms of science fantasy, it leans way more to fantasy, with a lot of its major plot points challenging our suspension of belief like no tomorrow. From people narrowly escaping a huge explosion like it's a gust of wind, to our heroes taking down an advanced alien race with 90s virus software. It's all very goofy and far-fetched.
There's times for money. Do it.
Don't expect the film to get too complex either, because the movie is far more focused on the adrenaline of the alien invasion to make time for deeper scenes. When a character dies, it's sad in principle, but the movie tends to wave it off quite quickly, or focus on the more patriotic side of said death than the grief it gives its characters.
What your father did was very brave. You should be proud of him. I am.
You'd think these deaths would affect characters for the rest of the film, or have some serious traumatic impact, but these passings just come and go. Most of the characters are pretty much cartoony stereotypes too. They're either stock tropes, caricatures that border on parody, or exaggerated versions of the stars who play them. I couldn't help but laugh at how wacky some of these characters came off.
Mr. President. Wow. What a pleasure. As you can imagine, they don't let us out much.
That being said, all of these actors are in their prime in this film. Every single one of them. Heck, this is a movie that helped shape the Hollywood personas of the likes of Jeff Goldblum, Will Smith, and Bill Pullman. Will Smith in particular rose through the Hollywood ranks thanks to this movie, and I can see why. Next to Men in Black, this is Will Smith at his Will Smithiest.
You don't mind?
Well, I mean, we'll have to let all my other girlfriends know that they can't come over, you know, and got to postpone a little freaky weekend.
There he goes, thinking you all that. But you are not as charming as you think you are, sir.
Yes, I am.
The actors are having to compensate for the one-dimensional writing, but surprisingly, I did find myself feeling for Russell's character. Russell is a Vietnam vet who is not only suffering possible war trauma, but 10 years ago he was abducted by aliens for experimentation. Now he's an alcoholic crop duster who has become a joke to the locals and even his own kids.
Just what in the hell do you think you're doing? It's the wrong field, you idiot. Lucas's farm's on the other side of town.
Are you sure?
So when Russell takes on the call to join the war as a pilot, he stops drinking for the occasion and embraces the chance to redeem himself.
Ever since I was kidnapped by aliens 10 years ago, I've been dying for some payback, and I just want you to know that I won't let you down.
Going as far as sacrificing his life to defeat the aliens. Yes, you could criticize him for leaving his kids orphaned, but it's still a noble gesture, and it's great to see him finally getting revenge on the aliens who traumatized him. Out of every character in the film, Russell's arc represents the hero's journey the most.
All right, you alien assholes! In the words of my generation, up yours!
Dad!
Looking back on the film now, there's very little here that sets the movie apart from other films of its genre. But here's the thing, we can credit Independence Day for creating a lot of the cliches that are still adopted by action blockbuster movies today, from the Transformers franchise to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's no denying that Independence Day set the template for end-of-the-world ensemble cast movies, a formula that director Roland Emmerich has made into a staple. What the film lacks in originality, it makes up for in its unabashed sincerity. When rewatching this film, I did not expect it to have this wholesome side to it. There's some uplifting heart behind all the cornball cheesiness and pew-pew action scenes. A consistent theme behind the film is that of togetherness. All the major characters in the film have a supportive family by their side, or a love interest cheering them on. While the world is facing a scary intergalactic threat, there's still last-minute weddings happening, friendships being bonded, rivalries reconciling, and citizens looking out for each other. I especially like what David's dad brings to this theme of unconditional love. He's really blunt about what he has to say, but it all comes from a place of love.
Hold hands. Come on in. Shema Kolenu Hashem Eloheinu.
I'm not Jewish.
Nobody's perfect.
Even when a government official shouts at his son, he steps in to remind them that David saved their butts.
I don't have to go. It can't be allowed.
Shut up, Captain! Get him out of here! Hey, don't tell him to shut up! You'd all be dead now if it wasn't my David.
When David is at his lowest point, his dad is the one to take charge, not only to scold his son for getting drunk when he's at his most needed, but also help him get back up.
Come on, David, you need your rest. Come on, get off this freezing concrete floor before you catch cold. Come on.
There's also this sense of worldwide camaraderie to the war against the aliens. Everyone puts aside their differences to fight a common evil. Sure, this is quite a stretch because it's hard to buy that global peace would happen under a few days in July, but it's a nice alternate reality to imagine, and there's no harm in wishing for a better world. As cheesy as the president's big speech is, I can't help being a little moved by the sentiment behind it. This is a president who has taken accountability for his mistakes, genuinely cares about protecting American lives.
In the Gulf War, we knew what we had to do. It's just not simple anymore. A lot of people died today.
And even joins the war firsthand as a pilot.
Mr. President, I'd sure like to know what you're doing. I'm a combat pilot, Will. I belong in the air.
He's a president who is too perfect to be real, so I totally buy the earnesty in his corny monologue.
The 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive.
I did also appreciate how the film paced the alien invasion throughout the movie. It's not a sudden attack. We really get to see the impact of this giant ship's presence on the world, from watching people being divided on the aliens' intentions.
I made it before I came in tonight. Check it out.
Now, I know you're not thinking about joining those idiots.
Oh, I'm going over there as soon as I get off.
To the awestruck feelings that spectators go through, the movie does a great job building up how near invincible these aliens are too, all through the force field that protects them. This shield is frustratingly impossible to penetrate, and this makes us wonder how on earth we will get past it, giving the audience an incentive to watch every try to break it down.
Come on. They must have some kind of protective shield over that hull. Nice, pull up!
The ship itself is astonishing to look at too, especially for a 90s movie. It's not CGI, by the way, that's a miniature model effect. I know, it's crazy! You really do get a vivid impression of how grandiose and imposing this alien spacecraft is. It's what makes us resonate with citizens' reactions to the giant thing. As for the aliens themselves, well, I do find it creepy how relentless they are to wipe races out. There's no humanity or compassion there. They just want to kill people, steal resources, and move on. It's what makes them come off so cold. They do also have their moments of horror, especially when they possess a scientist to get across their message of annihilation.
What is it you want us to do?
The aliens also have terrific otherworldly designs. They're like a weird amalgamation of various recognizable alien attributes, black eyes, tentacles, strange-shaped heads, but there's also something deeply unusual about them too. The puppetry for these aliens is dang impressive for the time. You can tell that Roland Emmerich did his best to cut around the puppet's limitations, but we still get some great shots of these complexly detailed creature effects.
Welcome to Earth.
To conclude, Independence Day is no masterpiece of cinema, and doesn't exactly break any new grounds, but it's still a fun, well-paced and high-production summer blockbuster that will keep families entertained. It's one of the quintessential turn-off-your-brain-and-grab-some-popcorn movies. I've been Jamboree. Don't forget to like, subscribe and ring that bell. Cheerio, folks.
Century Fox presents Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator.